a couple of tweets that I want to get into, and then break, and we'll come back with your calls. Here's the first one from our good friend Bob Thompson. This was from what happened on Friday when Grayson and Craig hosted the show on Friday, which was a huge day in college football with the college football expansion announcement. The presidents were sick and tired of the inertia from the commissioner level, and they took things over themselves. Keenum, Mississippi State, indicated the school presidents had concluded they needed to give ADs or athletic administrators and conference commissioners direction. And guess what? They took control of that because they just didn't like what they saw. And you also, I don't think there's any question, Grayson and Craig went into this in depth, but we can also go with Bob Thompson here. Didn't that just end any kind of speculation of the Super 2?
Potentially. I mean, in some, like for right now, I mean, I don't think, like here I see a bunch of people freaking out that are anti-playoff. And by the way, the anti-playoff, like, you know, when you say anti-16 and anti-32, like I'm right there with you. But I'm seeing some anti-6 talk, or anti-12 talk. And, you know, initially I was a little bit unsure, but the more I think about it, the more the reasons being given for why 12 is a bad idea are awful reasons. Like really awful explanations for why an expanded playoff is a bad idea. In fact, I don't think I've seen one really staunch anti-expansion person really make that great of an argument for why it wouldn't be very fun and why it's better right now or another way was better than what we're going to get. To me, it's just a lot of people who like the way that it's very elite and set up and it's only these 4 and nobody else is allowed. And, hey, it's almost like you don't deserve to be here because you just don't stand a chance anyway. Well, how do you know I don't stand a chance? Well, that one time, 1 year, that one small team played that one big team and it turned out like this, so every time it's going to turn out like that. Yeah, but what about the incredible upsets that can happen? Oh, well, that doesn't happen often enough. Yeah, well, what about the fact that my team will get in the playoff? Oh, well, you won't like it. How do you know I won't like it? Oh, I'm just telling you won't like it. You won't like it as much as winning a conference or a bowl game. Why? Winning my conference gets me into the playoff. Yeah, but you still won't like it because you'll get kicked in the first round. Yeah, but I don't know, going to the Cotton Bowl and doing that's cool, but if you're telling me I'm going to the Cotton Bowl and playing somebody and it's a playoff spot in a sport where they hang banners for any reason whatsoever, they create national championships out of thin air, you're telling me they're not going to celebrate going to the playoff just because they might get spanked by Alabama? Bull crap. They will love going to the playoff, no matter what team you put in there.
And if they get spanked.
And if they'll still enjoy it. Like, it's just one little sliver. I've been just boiling all weekend over the anti-playoff points, and I'm just not buying it. I think 12 is fine. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think to say that 4 is better somehow to avoid blowouts or to tell people they won't like something is total crap, and I'll debate anybody on
Garrett,
that.
give me the Barrett-Solly, not yet. All right, this got Craig going, and in his Good, the Bad, and the Ugly column that he writes on Sikkim 365, I'm not sure, Paul, if you saw this or not, Number 3 just throttled number 11. But, yeah, let's let more teams in the college football playoff. That's this elitist.
Worst
First of all, number 11 and number 3 are based on educated guesses, not anything that's happened.
Preseason rankings that are usually decided by logos.
By people like him.
The 85 Jimmies and Joes on either one of those rosters on scholarship, we haven't seen them play together in this format, in this grouping yet for anyone until the last 2 weeks, depending on, you know, when you started. So, yeah, those are all just, number 3, number 11. Yeah, I think Oregon will be number 11, but you don't know. I mean, you don't know.
All right, so put that up again. Put that up again.
Like, I understand that he's an SEC guy. I mean, just check out his timeline. And I don't want to, like, make this a personal thing because he's not the one I'm necessarily singling out. But this was just an awful tweet. Like, this is an awful opinion, in my opinion. I think this is a garbage take. I think it's disingenuous. I think it's SEC slanted. And I think it's just not coming from a place of really being honest with college football fans out there. I think this is an agenda type of tweet. I think the follow-up where he tried to go tattle to somebody else who's got an anti-expansion take as well was just kind of like, oh, I riled everybody up. And it's like, no, it's your opinion sucked, dude. That was a bad opinion that most people don't agree with. I hate how on social media you say something that's not wrong or not very good, and people go after you, and then you're like, oh, everybody's sensitive. It's like, no, everybody's reacting to the dumb thing that you said. We're all fine, but that opinion kind of sucks. And so, yeah, I saw, you know, a lot of anti-expansion talk, a lot of anti-playoff this or that. And, again, I'm not for, you know, the Mike Leach theory of let's 64. I'm not for 16. I don't even really love 12, but I like 12 a hell of a lot more than I like 4.
Yeah.
And I'm down for some more blowouts. We just watched a full weekend of every type of game you could imagine. We watched a bad football game with an incredible ending last night. And you mean to tell me college football fans are going to be dissuaded by the fact their team might actually have a chance to be in a playoff because that team might be in a blowout game, like they are probably on a pretty regular basis outside of, what, a couple of programs every year?
Do you know who's against expansion mostly? Are people who are
elitist?
Yeah, but big-time Super 2 people, usually. And not even those conferences, but people who are fans of that because in their mind, they're like, look, I've got it great as an SEC guy. Every year, it's going to kind of go because this narrative can play out. But if you expand it, you create more opportunity for the SEC to lose. Whether they will or not depends to be happen, but they know that.
All right.
So they want to fight against it.
And
Here's
one more point.
also why you do it. And go to Bob Thompson. Go ahead, Craig.
One
Bob
more
Thompson,
point.
Go ahead.
I saw somebody say, oh, you guys are going to hate it when it's all 4 SEC schools in the Final Four. You know what? If it's 4 SEC schools in the Final Four and a 12-team playoff, hats effing off to them. We will celebrate them and say, well freaking done, SEC. You got all 4 teams into the Final Four. That's what we would do. We would probably hate it just because there's that spite of, oh, we got to hear all the SEC stuff. But what would be any different than now? What is ESPN going to talk about them a lot if it's all 4 teams in the playoff? Boy, that'd be different from what we do already. Oh, my gosh, would Alabama and Georgia be in there with a couple of other SEC teams? If that's how it turns out, great. They earned it because it wouldn't just be a bunch of suits voting on who the best 4 is. They would have actually become the best 4. So, you know, it's not like you're going to get those top 4 votes and it's going to be, oh, well, it's Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and LSU. There's our top 4. No, you'd actually have to go, yeah, beat Cincinnati in a round 1 game on their campus to advance to be in the, like, you'd have to do it and earn it for that to happen. And if they did it, hats off. Like I said, I'm not anti-playoff because it might be pro SEC, you know, at a Final Four. That's ridiculous.
In fact, I would even applaud them even more that they would earn all 4 of those spots,
Exactly.
which they might. Here's one quick note from Bob Thompson. We need a break. We come back. Your calls, 254-339-1122. The current college football deal is $470 a year. $470 million a year for 3 games. Bob Thompson, who's been on this show now 3 or 4 times, he thinks it could be north of $2 billion. The current deal is 12 years old, very stale. College football playoff probably gets $1 billion on the current 3 games. 8 more games, even though early rounds should be easily add another $1 billion with new bidders. Conference championship games worth more as winners get automatic bids to the college football playoff. All right, we got a break. Come back with your calls.